Billiken fans, welcome back. It is Zach Miller and Peter Hale. It's the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, thank you so much for listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you're commenting. If you have something to say about what we have to say, drop a comment. Disagree, agree, it doesn't matter. We want to hear what you have to say. It is season 5, and once again, the Midtown Madness Podcast is brought to you by Two Men in a Garden as we close in on another Cinco de Mayo. If you're skipping the packed restaurants this year, snag some Two Men in a Garden salsa and it will elevate your Cinco de Mayo game. I'll be making it as a part of mine. Don't know if I'm going to hit the restaurant or not. Either way, I'm still going to include some Two Men in a Garden salsa. That definitely either that hot or that medium. That's right where my taste buds are at. Whatever your tastes are, Two Men in a Garden has you covered. If you're worried about the store not having your favorite flavor, that's where Two Men's $9.99 nationwide flat rate shipping comes in. You can get your favorite flavor delivered right to your door in many quantities from just $9.99 in shipping. Two Men in a Garden is made fresh with simple ingredients, and it has a ton of flavor. Visit them online at twomeninagagarden.com to shop your favorite flavors and learn more about their Kitchen Hub STL. Don't forget to follow them on social media at Two Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates. Pete, not a lot of basketball specific stuff to talk about this week. However, there is a lot of excitement around Jordan Goodwin getting his first taste of playoff experience. We talked about game 1 last week. We've had 3 games since we recorded, and Goodwin has been involved in every single one of them.
He has, Zach. The thing now is how many more playoff games will he get? The Lakers are on the ropes after game 4. They're down 3-1 to the Wolves. But yeah, he's appeared in all 3 games, starting with game 2 was their win. Lakers 94, Wolves 85. And in 7 minutes, he had 1 rebound, 2 fouls, and he was +5. So, good start for Goodwin. I mean, I guess he did play 6 in the previous game, but it's nice. It's surreal to see him, with LeBron James bringing the ball up, stuff like that during an NBA playoff game.
I thought he played really well in game 3, and he was rewarded with 12 minutes. He had 3 points on 1 of 3 shooting. 0 of 1 from 3. He halved his 2 free throw attempts with 2 rebounds, including 1 offensive rebound. Vintage Jordan Goodwin. He had 1 block, 2 fouls.
Yeah.
And he was a +9. That first bucket he got it was in his playoff career was I guess not his first bucket, but his first career playoff point came at the line after he got fouled while squeezing a brilliant little handoff between 2 defenders. It was a really nice little pass.
Yeah, he's shown flashes for sure. I mean, we can read off the stats here, but you got to watch these moments to see our guy doing his thing. In game 4, the Wolves won 116-113. This one was a battle. Goodwin had 7 minutes again, 2 rebounds, 1 of those offensive again. 1 assist, 3 fouls, got his money's worth there, and he was +1. So his plus minus has been positive every game, even though maybe the result hasn't been.
Yeah, no, I think it's been tough, especially with game 2 and 3. Game 4, not so much. It was during the day, but with the games being on the West Coast, it's been kind of tough to catch Jay Good, and that's kind of the struggle where, there's only a handful of teams that play in the Central Time Zone, and the Lakers are certainly not one of them.
Guess that's a good point. Yeah, so I guess you wind up with some pretty late games.
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's almost as bad as the NHL. Who for whatever reason make sure that we get the 9:30 game on a Tuesday. Speaking of pros in many different area codes, Jimmy Bell, old friend alert, a fan favorite, the locomotive, is going to take his talents to the LA Chargers. It's an OT. Is it? I couldn't tell if it was as an OT or in, as an OT or in an OT. I didn't really read that correctly. I don't think are they saying he's an offensive tackle or is this a tryout like an OT I don't know, additional tryout? I don't.
Yeah, it's a tryout. I think it's I don't know what the O is. I should know, I feel like, but well, here's another one. Says he was signed by the Chargers as an offensive tackle.
Okay. I couldn't tell if I read that quite right. I was in the notes. I said whatever that means, being that I making a gag that I don't watch football. And I would have amazing how
the way this is worded though, like they say as an OT. I mean, that's just kind of
they just signed him straight away. I mean, he did play for Mississippi State.
It's a mini camp tryout,
okay.
Right? It's an invitation to that mini camp. So he still has an uphill battle to actually play in the NFL, but it's a good start to actually, get out there, get your shot, right?
This would be the equivalent of a PTO in hockey.
Sure. Yeah, if that works for
Professional tryout, but as an OT. So I was right, but I didn't. Yeah. I wasn't all encompassing.
Yeah, and he's listed at 6'9", 330. So that's some that's intriguing size, right? I mean, most of the time, you get in that position, you get a lot of guys north of 300 pounds, but at 6'9" who can move, that's pretty interesting. So it's going to be fun to track his progress and see if maybe he can land a spot there. That'd be incredible.
OT, OTE, MTE. There's a lot of acronyms out there. And the MTE, the Billikens have found their MTE for this next season.
Yeah, they have, Zach. They're in the Acrisure Series in Palm Springs, California. I think it's actually Palm Desert where the arena is, or I get the little towns out there mixed up. But November 25th to 28th, which is Thanksgiving weekend. So the event is based at Acrisure Arena, but there are a lot of teams, so it is actually divided into pods, and there are some campus games. It's kind of a big, sprawling event. And we know, Zach, that there are 20 teams confirmed so far. We do still have some open questions, but there's quite a few. Running through the list here, you see, in addition to SLU, you've got Iowa, Ole Miss, Utah, Washington, Colorado, San Francisco, Nevada, San Jose State, Grand Canyon, Stanford, Minnesota, Santa Clara, Loyola, Northern Iowa, Tulsa, Fresno State, San Diego, Pepperdine, and Cal Baptist. So you'll recognize a few opponents in this list that SLU actually has this season, like Loyola, San Francisco, Grand Canyon, but they make an effort not to put teams together that are already playing each other. A lot of those teams in there have, doubled up in certain conferences. So, they've got to make an effort there to make sure you're not playing the same team 2 or 3 times. But the women's team actually played in this event last season and had a game at Cal Baptist in Riverside before then playing on the main site of the event against USC in Palm Springs. So I don't know this year whether it's going to be men and women's teams. Last year it was 21 teams, I think. It was like 19 games and 21 teams, or vice versa. But it was about 20 teams, but it was men and women. So I don't know if there's going to be a women's component and it's just bigger this year overall, or if they've just scrapped that and just made it a men's event. I'm not sure at this point.
All I know is the Acrisure Series sounds like a professional tennis event.
Absolutely. Golf, tennis, something like that.
Yes, it sounds like the NASCAR playoffs, but like if they had the NASCAR playoffs in like tennis or golf, that's what it would be.
Exactly.
But I like the Acrisure Series sounds cool. So I mean that's fun. I just don't know. Again, there's been rumors that we would get the two campus sites. What was it? We would be as part of like a true MTE, not the off game, the one-off game. So I mean that's enticing. Whether or not we get a 2 or 3 high profile or mid to upper net ranked team remains to be seen. But I mean, this sounds cool. Palm Springs sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So go ahead. And then
go ahead, Zach.
No.
So I was just going to say we went from being really unsure to having a really big
to being Acrisure.
To being Acrisure. So I know people have there have already been some kind of like quibbles with this of like, okay, sure, there's power conference teams in it, but they're not that great. But I'm like, look, we're going to get a few quality games out of the thing. I'm not super worried I'm not going to sweat over the quad numbers yet. Like we got something, right? Like we didn't at the last minute have to invite Quinnipiac into our gym. So this is something, right?
We are
I think it's a step up.
We are going to have to discuss how badly we're going to get screwed by the quad system, how every mid-major in college basketball is going to get screwed by the quad system. We have a lot of time to talk about that.
It's a given. Yes.
We have a lot of time to talk about the quad system. I'm not even worried. I just like you, I'm not entirely worried about it right now. I had something.
No, these teams aren't even done putting their rosters together.
No, I think the last point to talk about this MTE is, one of the downsides to inviting SLU and one of the reasons I think SLU has had trouble getting into MTEs, especially the headlining MTE like the Hawaii tournaments. What else are we talking? There's an LA. I mean, the headliners, the big ones, right? Is because SLU doesn't travel, and I think SLU fans don't travel, and I think that's on the fans to some extent. I think some of it is on the basketball program in that it hasn't done well in 10 years, 11 years, and I think some of it's on SLU athletics for not putting together, events, not necessarily events at the locations, but putting together enticing people to travel, right? It's beyond, right. It goes beyond setting up the pregame stuff, getting travel packages, trying to build a travel package that you can then turn around and have your fans sign up for, make it as easy as possible for them. The hotel, all that. I don't know exactly how all of that works, but trying to come up with more events around the tournament or I don't know, come up with some way to kind of make it a bigger event than just the basketball tournament, Pete.
Yeah, I think you're right, Zach. I mean, I think there's a lot in there, but broadly speaking, yes, I agree with you. It's got to be a whole thing, and all we can do in the meantime is to travel to these the best that we can. As SLU fans, show up, make some noise online about the events. Anything you can do to kind of like sort of generate interest in these, and it sure helps if 100%. We win these. So win some games in there. I don't know what it looks like from St. Louis right now, but if you're at least from Cincinnati, Palm Springs looks like an expensive flight that weekend. I'll check St. Louis here real quick, but it looks like you're going to have to avoid the Wednesday to Sunday time frame. If you can get out there early, if you can leave late, get maybe creative with your dates around Thanksgiving, maybe make it a week, you can do all right. It's a lot better from St. Louis. It looks like flights are going to be in kind of the 350 to 600 range, no matter what days you're flying. So that's actually not so bad. The cheapest flight in Cincinnati, and I mean, you'd have to make it a full week or something, is a little under 500. So I think this is doable. I think that's those, there's some good flight prices out of St. Louis over Thanksgiving. Make it a nice balmy Thanksgiving experience under the palm trees.
And let's hope the experience doesn't turn into like that Groundhog Day remake called Palm Springs that Andy Samberg. That was a fun movie. I enjoyed that movie.
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of topics that are kind of off. They're not on court. The NIL Store. I think they do a good job. I like the shirts. Like I do like the t-shirt designs that they put out. It's kind of funny that vintage 90s look, that t-shirt look with like the bold, like multiple pictures combined into one. It appeals to me, but it's just not really something that I would wear, like unironically. I feel like I would get it, like, and it's just like I don't like they don't fit me right. They're all cotton. And again, like I think it's a great idea. The whole thing is well done. The shirts are fine. It's just the way I'm just not getting 100% cotton t-shirt like that. Or
Yeah.
the hoodie. Um,
Yeah.
so I do think they have some creative designs, and I like what they do. I think they could do some things different, including offering kind of different fabrics, and maybe try to be a little more creative. I think with the designs, maybe a little bit more than that. That '90s whatever you want to call it, band t-shirt look. But I also I do think they need to step up their game with the basketball jerseys this year, whether that be meeting with SLU and getting jerseys that look a little bit more like the actual jerseys the Billikens are wearing.
Yeah.
Because I haven't like been in contact with one physically, but I mean, looking through like seeing people wearing them at Shavits, they just don't fit very well. They have really wide the sleevelessness. I don't know what you would call this part, but it's very wide. It's very like Allen Iverson on the Sixers in like '03 wide. Like it's oversized.
Early aughts, the wide shoulders.
Yeah,
Yep. I know exactly. Yeah.
And so I think they could do better to find a better cut jersey, and also like the color of it doesn't really scream. It's not bold, in my opinion, a bolder royal blue, Billiken blue. But yeah, I would like to see them, kind of step up their game a little bit. And I don't know if that's me or not.
I would agree with you on all of that, actually. I think that you're right. Number one, the jerseys should look more authentic, even if they're not exactly authentic.
Baseball and softball are a great look. Yes,
they are. But I also think the jerseys, as you said, like the blue they're using is kind of like a dustier color. It's not like that. It does not that really like poppy royal blue that we actually use.
Yes.
At SLU. So that I thought was an interesting choice, but like the fonts and all that kind of stuff, fine. If they're not going to make it look exactly like the uniform, I get that. But I do think I would definitely sort of modify like where they're going with this. And I guess I would add as well, we're in the early days of this still, right? Like, I don't think it's even been 2 years that we've been able to do this. It's been like 1 year. So
right.
Everybody's still figuring it out. And, I think we'll get there eventually.
They also felt like they look really heavy.
Yes, they do.
And like, I don't know if that's right or not, because I haven't held one. By the way, NIL Store, if you want me to, I'll take a look. Even if you want to just send me a piece of the fabric, like if you don't want to send me a jersey, that's fine. But I would love to take a look at the fabric, because I haven't been able to hold it. But yeah. I love the baseball and softball. I think they're gorgeous. The pinstripes are awesome.
Yeah.
The soccer ones, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the style, but I think it's funny because the blue they're using, like you mentioned, when it comes to the graphic t-shirts, the blue's spot on. When it comes to the white shirts with blue lettering, the blue is spot on. Right. But then you get to the solid blue shirts, and the blue is different.
Right.
So that's interesting to me. But I'm not a huge fan again. I think I'm not a fan of the men's soccer jerseys with the St. Louis on the chest. I am partial to the crest, always have been, always will be. Even the SLU, even when it was a logo up there, that's SLU, I was still way more fond of it than I was of the St. Louis across the chest. So I think I think just SLU and the NIL store need to get together, figure out a way to get everything closer to the brand.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I do like the fact that they can sort of put their own spin on it and come up with their own design for their shirt. I think that's cool. It is funny that all of them are kind of winding up in the same place, right? That kind of has like a mid-90s, very large graphic. It's just right now.
Well, that, and I don't know how many designers they have like assigned to. I would assume it's like, point. How many teams do they have? 37 or something across. It doesn't matter, but I can't imagine. There's a lot of designing that needs to be done.
Sure.
So I could see one designer for like a certain level. I could see like Slew's probably being charged to the NIL store. The NIL store probably charges a Power 5 team a tier that involves multiple people on the account that'll do designs. I would imagine Slew's at a tier where it's access to one design. You know what I mean? Yeah. One designer is assigned to the account. But yeah, another thing that's coming up is the Billiken Golf Tournament auction. I will say, I think it's improved this year. Last year, I think both of us were kind of like, as far as the auction goes, it's just kind of like what these things all seem very uninspiring. Like nothing that would make me, as a person who doesn't ever buy things from auction, be like, oh, hold on a second, let me take a look at this. And this year I had one or two.
Yeah. There are absolutely things in here that I would bid on and buy. So there's the Billiken basketball suite, which I think is great. $2,500 value. It's got 25 tickets, 2 Weber lot parking passes, and 2 Olive Compton parking passes. I would absolutely bid on that if I was confident that I could get a good date and get a good price on that. Right now, it's at $800. I mean, that's a steal. I don't know what's when are these going to go?
I'm not sure.
So yeah, I'd have to look at like how much. I guess there are 6 people watching it. But yeah, anyway, that would be one that I would definitely get in on. Some of this is
closes May 6th at 5 p.m.
May 6th. Okay, so we still have 9 days. But so some of these are golf, and if you're a golfer, they are good values for me. It's money thrown out the door.
You're wasting money taking peak golfing, I've heard.
Yeah, somebody's offering a siesta key vacation.
I like that. That was the one I saw that I was like, you know what?
Yep. 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, private access to Crescent Beach. This is actually a really good value, even if it goes all the way up to what they're calling its fair market value, $2,500.
I mean, if you have 4 people.
Yeah, I mean this, it's less than what we paid for a Florida vacation last year, so I think it's a good deal. It says must be used by April 30th, 2026, based on availability. So you do have to figure out what the dates would be, but they are giving you a full year, which is nice, right? So I like that one. Dinner with Coach shirts I thought was pretty fun, and putting a fair market value on that is pretty interesting too.
I do want to say on the Siesta Key vacation, I mean, I rented a condo in Miramar Beach, which Siesta Key, I don't know the difference in like upscale.
Siesta Key is really nice.
I mean, it's really, but like I rented a condo for $1,500 for a month in Destin. That's like, so seeing this at like $1,500. Sorry. 1,500. Did I say? I don't know. But like 1,500 sounds reasonable for 7 days of anything. Like as like a vacation compared to like renting a condo for a month. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes sense.
I've booked enough Florida trips by now to know that it's a good spot. Dinner with Coach shirts it's got a couple bids on it. It's at $550.
Hey, if anybody wants to bid on that and gift that to me, that would be a great bit.
It's up to 6 guests, so it'll just be me, Zach, and 4 empty chairs. A lot. We've got questions.
The entire Slew Twitter think tank.
We would record it for good content there. But yeah, it's funny. They've already got the reservation. It's at ESCA. It's June 11th, a Wednesday night, and they have to say not available for prospective student athletes, high school, the Jonas or junior college coaches.
The Jonas Brothers are in town. I can't make it that night. And
Yes.
a good, recent movie quote.
I know The Hangover is
Yeah.
actually one that I recognize.
Yeah.
So well done that you're not quoting some like Disney straight to video sports movie. I like they've got a suite at Busch Stadium, which is, worth more than the Chaffetz one. That's at 1,800 currently, worth a lot more than that. They have a suite for Incubus at Chaffetz. Definitely some people in my generation would be on that one.
I would kind of, I mean, it's not like Incubus isn't a band that I am like dying to see, but if I was of means.
Well, that's also one too, right? Like if your company had like an extra ticket, you're like, yeah, I'll go to that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a ticket in the suite to Incubus, but like, sure, I'll go. And then you've got signed jerseys, Zach, for some recent players: Yuri Collins, Patrick Schulte, Johnny Klein. I think those are all kind of cool too.
I was surprised that Goodwin wasn't there.
No Goodwin. You're right. Yeah, no Goodwin. Anything else here that's standing out to you though?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You would bid on?
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out $350 current bid for 10 Billiken women's season tickets.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's one for soccer too.
Yeah.
There's one for soccer that's a steal. Because you see it at first and it just says soccer season tickets and you don't realize like, oh, it's 10.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I'm thinking STL self-care, Herbaria pure pleasure, the only facial. I'm there, dude. That'd be sick.
A treat yourself day.
Treat yourself.
We could all use one of those. There's a couple fire pits. There's a Busch Light one.
Yeah.
There's the Bud Light Solo Stove. Those are the kind of things at silent auctions. Like every once in a while, there's a few items that kind of get ignored, and you just walk over there right before closing time,
Hold
throw
on.
your name down, and wind up with something like that.
Wait a minute. What? Bud Light branded mini projector.
Mini projector. I did not see that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's the AirPods. The Bud Light branded AirPods. The Bud Light branded mini projector. Bud Light ladies cropped quarter zip sexist. Large Bud Light custom polo. Okay.
Huh.
That's a fun. I might.
Yeah. This.
You
this
know what? I
looks
kind of
it's
need a
all,
new pair. I mean, I need a new pair of AirPods. Nobody's watching that. I might slide in.
Slide in there, yeah, yeah, and you'll look like who is it? Post Malone and
Shane Gillis.
Oh my God, I'm blanking on the Shane Gillis. Thank you.
That's my new favorite. He's great. He's funny. I've been enjoying.
Those are good ads. Yeah, I like his SNL was good too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here this year, though, Zach. You're right. I do think it's a big upgrade over last year. I think there's a lot more varied stuff in here. There's definitely a lot of stuff that I would bid on. Some not being in St. Louis kind of makes some of it not as valuable to me, but still, there's some good stuff in here.
Yeah, the FanDuel suite sounds cool. I think you mentioned that. But yeah, I just first pitch at a Cardinal game. That's one of those. See, that's to me that is truly the type of item that the auction, like it's the stuff that you can't go out and buy yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
The dinner with Coach shirts. I think that first pitch at a Cardinal game. The Billiken appearance is always a good one. Is that in? They did do that, right? Yes. I mean, right now it's $90.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those experiences really are the bread and butter of an event like this. Even though I don't generally go to events like this, I'm just giving my my unsolicited opinion.
Someday, Zach. Someday.
No, I have played in the Billiken soccer golf tournament. That's a fun one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, that's a good. I ended up winning a raffle prize. It was a U.S. soccer bag with a bunch of gear, with a few like pieces of gear in there. Nice. I think it was. I still have the duffel. It's kind of busted up, but
yeah,
it had a U.S. soccer jacket in there and a couple of T-shirts. Yeah, that's pretty
Very
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. That was 10 years ago now. Good Lord. Let's talk about incoming transfers. Brady Dunlap made it official.
He did. He did, Zach. Yeah, he was the last one on Tuesday, and
Uh,
we really haven't been covering these as they've signed necessarily because, like, we got the commitments, and there's really no need to like cover the commitment and the signing. But they are all official now, is the good news. So I guess it does still feel good to have them signed on the dotted line. So Zach, we kind of did this after the first 4 transfers, but now that we've had 6 and appear to be done with the roster for the season, what's your order of excitement on these? Like if you had to rank the incoming 6 guys, who makes you the most to the least excited out of these?
like that's a tough question for me, Pete. Because I've sat here and kind of run this, and it's not a bit. It's genuinely how I feel, and it's like I don't know what to make of any of these guys. Again, they played on bad teams. They put up good minutes or put up good numbers in either small sample size or decent minutes or decent numbers in big sample sizes. And I just don't know. What I do know is that I really don't care to rank them, to be honest with you, in levels of excitement. What I do know is that I'm excited about what Otieno does and how much he fills the need that was sorely missing from this roster last year. That I'm excited for Brady Dunlap to bring in his big personality into a program that the biggest personality was the head coach, and he's kind of an aw shucks guy. Josh Schertz is an aw shucks intellectual when it comes to basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's very unassuming. He's very whatever. He's kind of laid back, but also he I don't know. More.
That's an interesting point because that's a hard balance to pull off, right? Is the guy who is both the kind of very serious, smart, know-it-all, but also the very sort of humble, unassuming, approachable guy. Like that's a tough balance to strike, and he's got a really unique personality, and I think he kind of threads that needle.
Pete, what about you though? I'm curious because you are allowing your emotions to actually guide you on these players, because I can't get attached, man. It's some of it's the portal, some of it's NIL. I can't find myself necessarily getting excited for guys who could potentially leave in a year. Just I don't know.
Yeah, so I would say I'm with you on Paul Otieno. I think he's number 1. I think he's easily a starter. I think the tandem with Robbie is really enticing there. Trey gotta be number 2. Really, that's going to prove to be a good get. Quentin Jones, proven scorer. Hasn't played for very good teams, but I really see him fitting in. If he gets better, I think kind of shots that he makes work well in our system. I'm going to go Dunlap number 4. He was another one, like coming into St. John's. He was kind of like, he still got double-digit minutes, right? On a Rick Pitino number 2 seed St. John's team over the course of 2 seasons. He got hurt in a couple different ways, had to shut it down this season, but him back healthy, everything like that. A 6'7" shooter with some versatility to his game, I think is really enticing. Brown is where I'm number 5 is Dion Brown. He could be number 6 though. Ishan Sharma. Like those two, I could kind of flip either way. For whatever reason, Brown, I mean, I think the thing that has me the most excited there is he's an offensive rebounding guard. And that's something we really didn't get at all from the guard position last season. So I think there's at least some intrigue there, and the fact that he scored so much at a lower level before, popping up to Boston College and being kind of a, more average player there. Sharma, we just haven't seen as much yet. He played his freshman year at Virginia, just didn't see a whole lot. So I think I'd put him sixth, even though again he was a pretty highly rated prep player. And that's what I think is really unique about this group, Zach, is there's a lot of guys here who had some real hype coming into college, and we just haven't seen the full fulfillment of that yet. So I think you've got a lot of guys who are hungry, who are looking for the right fit. And if we are indeed the right level, the right fit for these guys, or at least most of them, right? Because we don't even need them all to pan out. But if most of them do, then we're in really, really good shape here, and we've got some nice depth.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's what I like. You talk about the depth. I just want to see a team that plays steady basketball over the course of 40 minutes, right? I don't want three guys that are taking the lion's share of basically scoring all our points, right? I don't want to see a huge drop off when you go to the bench. And that's what I'm excited about. So I'm excited about Otieno, his rebounding, his physicality, his ability to shoot free throws and the three occasionally.
Yep.
And that Brady Dunlap, his personality. I'm excited for that. I think Ishan Sharma could be that dark horse that ends up being a major contributor as a bigger wing that can get those rebounds, much like a Thames, but with less athleticism.
Yeah. I mean that could be the case, and I think that Thames is really the other one, Zach. I mean, if he's healthy, if he's playing this season, that I think that's the game changer for us, right? Like that's the difference in being a good team and a really, really good team. When you look at the overall roster, you've got Robbie Avila, Paul Otieno, Kalu Anya, Dion Brown, who are going to be the seniors. Behind them, you've got Trey Green, Quentin Jones, Brady Dunlap, Kellen Thames, big question mark. Fingers crossed that he's healthy.
Did you see the video?
McCautry and Dylan Warlick coming back. Sharma, Jax Kerr, Luke Lachkowski, Cameron Hudson. Those last three are the freshmen coming in. Real upside in all of these guys. Size, we've got more youth than we did last season and more athleticism, more shooting, more depth. I think a lot of the things we were missing are all there.
Did you see the video though today?
What are you trying to? The video today? No, I did. I've been gone all day.
Go look at our Instagram story right now.
Our Instagram story. So I haven't even seen our own Instagram.
Yeah.
All right. So we are looking at Kellen Thames finishing off the backboard alley-oop dunks. Wow. Okay. I don't know, man, but that looks like a healthy person to me.
Yeah.
Whether he can run 40 minutes in a Division I basketball game remains to be seen, but my, that is Kellen Thames getting up and finishing a pretty tough dunk.
Yeah, again, I think we talked about it last week. There's a difference between being able to do stuff like that and being good to do it over 40 minutes without having any incident where you get beat because you cramp up. And that's not a shot at Thames. There's nothing you can do about that, right? That's not like a trait. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Some outgoing transfers. You kind of broke this news, Pete. I don't know where the hell you found it, but
this was just up late, and I caught it. Nick Patton entered the portal. Slew's walk-on, right? He entered before the cutoff time. I can't remember honestly, because it's been several days. I can't remember where I actually saw it, but I did find it on one of the transfer portal aggregator sites and posted it to social media. And yeah, there we are. Nick Patton. He's the son of Peter Patton, who worked for the Bulls, and the Bulls just let him go. So I don't know what is next for the elder or younger Patton, but there you go. We lost a walk-on.
Does that mean we have a space on the roster? I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
Well, I guess we do. It means we have to do less chicanery with the walk-ons to get them all playing. But the second one, Zach, you asked what were the odds I thought he would go to Evansville.
He did not go to Evansville.
He went to one of the other. He went to one of the other two schools he visited, and that's Larry Hughes Jr.
Yeah, he's headed to Cal State Northridge, the Toreros.
We did this before,
and I'm wrong. And I'm wrong.
You don't remember which one it was? I'll give you a second here. It's another Spanish word.
Yeah, I know. It's not the Gauch. Is it the Gauchos?
No, we did.
Shit.
Wasn't this literally
I'm slipping.
2 weeks ago we had this. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not them either. These
the Matadors.
You got it.
What a dumb name.
I love it. I think it's great.
I mean, I like Matadors. Just like it's not it doesn't fit. I'm sorry. I don't mean that like in a mean way. Like just the word Matador. Like it's like saying Cal State Northridge Matadors. Like that doesn't sound right.
So what like I like Matador, but like what would that go well with? Like what college would that go
it wouldn't. With? I don't think
would it have to be a college with
I think it's too long. It's too many syllables.
Would it have to be a Spanish word like San Francisco Matadors or San Diego Matadors or something like that?
Yeah, that might help.
You're already in the language.
Or it has to be a shorter name. Like Cal State Northridge Matadors. Like the school has to be a shorter name, like the Duke Matadors. That might work better.
I see. Okay.
The Elon Matadors.
Okay. Instead of the Elon
because because there's too many syllables on the back end. You can't have I don't know what I'm getting on about here. I'm riffing at this point. I have no idea. I've completely blacked out.
The Yale Matadors.
Yeah, there we go.
One symbol or a one syllable word.
Yes,
Yale.
yes.
There you go. Okay.
Go ahead. Apparently you have a trivia question for me because let's talk about the A10 Portal.
As we shift to the A10 this week, Zach, I do have a quick trivia question for you without peeking. Of the 18 players named to the 3 all-conference teams in the A10 last season, because they do put 6 and 6 and 6, right? Who are the only
hold on. Bernadette McGlade, the Devil, confirmed.
Bernadette confirmed?
The Devil, yeah. 6, 6, 6. 6 on the first team, 6 on the second team. 6 on, it's all there. It's all there. The lines match.
Okay, all right. You and your numerology might be onto something.
Yes,
but I think you're stalling. I think you're dodging because you don't know the answer to this.
Well, remind me what the question is again. It's how many of the outgoing transfers were on the first team, or the first 3 teams.
The question is of all of those 18 players who were named to the first, second, and third team, how many are actually returning to the league this year? Now, keeping in mind, some of these guys did graduate. Gibson Jimerson, Max Schulger, they can't come back, right? But how many guys are coming back?
Single digits, under 7, let's say 4.
So it's 2 guys who are coming back, but I want you to name them, Zach. One should be easy.
You think so? I mean, Robbie Avila.
Sure. There you go. There's your easy one. Now, who's the other one?
Who is the other one? That is a great question. It's not a Billiken, obviously. Would it be somebody on St. Joe's?
No, actually, it's Castro from George Washington.
Oh, sure, of course, the school that I forget exists.
So Avila and Castro are the only 2 all-conference players returning this season. Pretty amazing stuff, Zach. I mean, I gotta say, but I do like what a lot of teams are doing so far in the portal. Even if it means we're not bringing back all of our all-conference players.
Some updates to that portal. Dayton has welcomed Malcolm Thomas from Villanova. And I tell you what, Dayton fans are pretty hyped, and it's odd.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is another case of a guy looking for the right level. He didn't do a whole lot at Villanova, not the best Villanova team, but still didn't get a big chance there. He was a guy who had, decent ratings and everything coming out of high school. So Dayton feels like the right level to me for him. I think he could actually be a really good player there.
But at the same time, Dayton fans were pretty sour on Anthony Grant going into this offseason. And they get the transfer haul, and it seems like they're back in.
Yeah, I mean, like that's going to be it with every team, though, right? I mean, how many teams were going to go through this every year? Like everybody, I hate the portal, and then people are all excited about the guys coming in. It's just it's this same thing over and over and over. I I don't know. What is pretty amazing to me, Zach, is there are now 12 Duquesne players who are out in the portal, with Hassan Drame joining this week.
Who's the only one left?
It's probably somebody who graduated, but I do have an asterisk by the 12 because I think at least one of these guys is out of eligibility. I want to say, is it Maximus Edwards? Somebody who entered for them just doesn't have eligibility yet left. And then another one of the guys is going to Akron. Chabi Bar is going to Akron. So not a whole lot of news on the Duquesne front other than it's just going to be a whole new team this year.
Fordham is a bit of the same. They have 10 guys going out, including Jameer Tripp, who intra-conference transfer headed to Rhode Island. Josh Rivera is out. He's heading to Seton Hall. Jamison O'Toole, Max Miller, Jackie Johnson III, and Aiden Crotty. What an awful last name. They have not yet signed, but they were late entrants this past week. Coming in, it'll be Jack Whitbourne out of UC Riverside. You mentioned you thought Fordham did pretty well in the portal.
The reason I say that is really because of DeJour Reeves, who we mentioned a couple weeks ago out of Iona. He's a big-time scorer, and I think that's going to translate. The other three guys, their numbers are okay, but I think they've got a lot of work left to do. I've heard they've got a pretty good budget. I think they're going to put something together better than what they had, and I think Reeves is a good piece to build around. So that's why I think they're going to do well. They've got a better coach too.
Talk about my least favorite school in the conference.
Is that George Mason?
Yeah, it is.
They found out that Justin Begg, who was in the portal, is headed to Sam Houston State, and they're bringing in Riley Allensbach from Samford. The thing I will say about Mason, and I think I said this last week, is just there's really only one guy that I kind of raised my eyebrows and said, I think that's a really good get. Everybody else, I'm kind of like, let's wait and see here. I'm not convinced that they're better than they are last season. When you take out Jalen Haynes, a couple of the other more role players that they had, I think the guy or two graduated. I don't know if they're going to be as good. That's all. I don't see them finishing top two again.
George Washington coming in, they have Gene Aranguren out of Hofstra, Boo Boo Benjamin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my new favorite player in the league. He out of Tarleton State. Tyrone Marshall out of Western Kentucky. LaSalle also lost pretty much everybody on their roster.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, a couple updates, as well as some incoming players.
Yeah, so Shepard and Etienne, Mac and Daishan are out. I put the asterisk there because I don't think Shepard has any eligibility left. Etienne declared for the draft. He may come back. I think he's kind of like just leaving all of his options open here. So that one is also probably worth an asterisk because I just, I don't know if he's actually going to train. He had like a post about how he's coming back. And of course, a lot of schools have been burned on that before, but I think this is just to kind of keep his options open. So yeah, essentially a whole new roster there if he doesn't return. But two new guys coming in, and one is Josue Grullon. I'm not good with Portuguese, man. I don't know if it's the same as Spanish with the double L, but he's Brazilian and he played at UT Martin. And then they just announced Noah Collier from William and Mary. So Look, LaSalle is one of these things where like they've got a whole roster put together already. They might only have room for like one or two more guys. None of these guys really pop off the paper, but I think it's a good balanced roster, and I think you can kind of look at all of their profiles and find some reasons to be optimistic here. So I'm choosing optimism. I think LaSalle could be better than last season.
Loyola, one late addition, Jack Turner. No idea where he's going to end up at. Seafeld and Hendaway is heading to Winthrop. The Rhode Island, does it even matter?
Yeah, look, always right. One of the Wright brothers is going to Texas Rio Grande Valley, so not a big story there. He didn't play this last season because he was hurt. Sebastian Thomas, again, no eligibility, entered the portal. A lot of guys doing that, doesn't really matter. I will say, Zach, though, for the first time, I am kind of impressed with a couple of guys they're bringing in. Miles Corey from South Alabama, that's Corey. If you want to look up some highlights of him dunking, he's going to be a fun player. Jameer Tripp, we already mentioned, from Fordham. And then Tyler Cochran from Minnesota. Didn't really do anything at Minnesota, but a year before at, I want to say, Toledo, he was a really good player on the MAC, about 14.5 points a game, really efficient shooting. So if he can kind of return to that level of production, I think they got a good one there.
Always right, missing out on an opportunity to go to the University of North Carolina at Kitty Hawk.
Yep. Big missed opportunity.
Yep. Richmond, Dusan Neskovic has entered the portal. Late entry there.
That's a
big loss.
Yeah, but is he out of eligibility? Is he another one of those guys?
Who gives a shit at this point? No, seriously, screw these guys, dude.
He's one that, he gets the asterisk because, again, 4 full years, right? Like, he did not take a medical red shirt. He played 4 full seasons. And now I say full in quotes because, he only played 16 to 24 games every year at Dartmouth. By the way, did play at SLU in one of those. But, I don't see a case here for more eligibility. So, like a few of the others we've mentioned so far, I just don't think there's anything there.
St. Bonaventure. One update: Amari Marshall is coming in out of Albany. St. Joe's has a few updates, Pete.
Yeah, no surprise. Xavier Brown is following the assistant. I'm forgetting the assistant's name, who he has ties to, but they're going to Oklahoma, going to play for Porter Moser. And then they have Jaden Glover coming in from St. John's. So that one there is, I think, enough of a, I don't know if I'd say splashy, but to get one from St. John's, a guy who had a little bit of hype going into St. John's. He's a New York guy. He's from Brooklyn. Didn't play a whole lot his freshman year. So I think he's just looking for a bigger opportunity. So St. Joe's fans are excited about that one.
VCU, Alonzo Billups is heading to Longwood.
That's Fats.
Oh, wait, what?
Remember Fats?
Fats Billups.
Yeah. Okay. I should have put his nickname in there for you. God
damn it. Fats is heading to Longwood. Fats long. Okay.
Yeah. You got it now.
Yep. Luke Bamboye is headed to Texas Tech. Lazar Djokovic is coming in from Charleston. Pete, there's a joke to be made here about Fordham being like an abusive partner who it's just crazy because they get mad at the big schools and they take it out on the little schools, and it's abusive.
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
Zach.
The
joke has been made in college sports many times, like Kentucky better knock it off or they're going to punish Evansville, or, name your big school and small school. Mm-hmm. And here we are, like so-and-so better knock it off or they're going to take it out on Fordham. And they did.
They absolutely did.
They've wrapped up the case. The details and punishment are as follows. 8 recruits were offered, quote, impermissible benefits, unquote, from 2021 to 2023. They violated, quote, publicity before signing rules, end quote, with 24 different recruits. Now, this refers to 24 times that they had a professional photographer take pictures of recruits in Times Square. Can you imagine in this day and age getting photos and time? I mean, that's beyond the pale. Violations included trips to New York Giants games and the U.S. Open. Okay, that one might actually be, probably a no-no. Head coach Keith Ergo and DBO Trayvon Martin said they.
Say what?
Maybe that's Trevon.
Okay.
Could be Trevon. It's like it's one letter off, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't. His name. Anyway.
Yeah.
Said they didn't know that they were committing violations. Both received show cause penalties.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Why? Like show cause penalties?
Yeah, I know it is. But even more crazy, Zach, they have to vacate wins and records over the seasons in which these players competed. So that's what 2 years here.
I don't know if it's more sad that like Keith Ergo and Fordham had to cheat to be as bad as they were.
I know this is really. I guess technically this included the really good season that he had, right? Like it didn't include last year. So if it were his second 2 years, that would have been a lot funnier. But it also includes 3 years probation, 2% reduction in program budget, $35,000 fine, reduction of 2 official visits from this cycle, 8-week ban on communications with recruits this cycle, some other odds and ends. Some of these penalties were self-imposed, some imposed by the NCAA. But overall, Zach, this just strikes me as like a very quaint, old-timey, antiquated case and punishment for something that just seems like what are we doing here? We have like agents shopping guys around, players committing and decommitting, money flying around everywhere, and you're like, these recruits shouldn't have had their picture taken in Times Square? Like, what's going on? It's wild to me.
I can't. It's you know what would help us cope with this just complete bullshit. Some stress eating, and you know what I want. What I like to stress eat: 2 men in a garden salsa with some Rosalita's chips. You, however, are more of a fan of the bread and butter kicker pickles for your stress eating.
I don't know if I would say I'm a fan yet because these are new, Zach, and I haven't had them yet. But it's kind of combining 2 things in one, right? Like we've already got the spicy dill, we've already got the bread and butter, and now they're throwing these things together. We've got a spicy bread and butter pickles that's now available on the website. I like to go there every once in a while, see if there's anything new. This is new. I was thinking about those smoky barbecue pickles. Somebody posted something about those online recently, and so when I go there, you can only imagine my delight when there's another option on the menu, the bread and butter kicker pickles. I've said before, bread and butter not always my thing. Theirs are the best I've had. I'm gonna try these out. I'll report back eventually, but you should too. Head over to twomeningarden.com, take advantage of the $9.99 nationwide shipping, tell them we sent you, try these pickles out, and let us know what you think. Once again, twomeningarden.com.
Outgoing transfers on the women's basketball side. Brooklyn Gray has committed to Rhode Island on Tuesday, and that means that the first 2 outgoing commitments are both staying in the league. Tiara Simon was first headed to Richmond. That's not good.
No, I think it's a bad look, as they say. Yeah. I mean, it's these are 2 of your better players, 2 of your bigger producers, and they're staying within the league. They're going to better teams within the league. That's a little bit painful to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand kind of how. I don't know what is going on within this women's basketball program. The commitments we've gotten don't seem to move the needle as far as replacing the major pieces that we lost. You've got, Brooklyn Gray and Tiara Simon going out. Those are 2 women that played a big part of that NIT run. So are we getting rid of these players to improve the roster? That's certainly strange because The teams above us seem to think they are good enough to play on their team.
Yeah, and it says to me a lot about Richmond, right? Like we said a couple weeks ago, when Simon committed there, that's a top 30 net team that won an NCAA tournament game this year. They
Yeah.
didn't just win the league; they're a very good program. They would absolutely be competitive in the ACC as of last season. And I know I saw it for Davidson women's basketball, and they were pretty good this year. I want to say they finished like fourth or fifth, but I think Richmond didn't lose anybody to the portal either. I think it was just graduation. So the teams up top in this league are doing a good job of retaining players and staying competitive. And if they're picking off our players in the process, yeah, that doesn't bode well for our ability to climb the ladder in this league.
Yeah, and it certainly makes next season kind of a chore.
Yeah.
You have, I mean, certainly it sucks to have to either go to Rhode Island or go to Richmond or, have them visit Chaffetz and, Brooklyn Gray's playing for him. Tierra Simon's playing for him. That's a kick in the balls, metaphorically speaking.
It really is.
Rita Azario committed to Cal State Northridge. Again, I think she certainly should have gotten minutes last season. I don't know what happened. There has been an incoming transfer. We do have. Did we learn who that was officially?
Yeah. So the last time that we went over a transfer, so she had committed. Zach, I want to say on the 19th.
This is the Canadian, right?
We went over her before.
Okay. Did she? Is there another one?
That has not been made official yet.
Oh, yeah, it's Canadian guard. High school.
So all I know, Tillett just put out another one of her, her signature
cryptic,
tweets, Billiken and Root. Yeah.
Is it route or root, do you think, when she says it out loud? Do you think she says root or route?
That is one of the words that I have never made up my mind on how to say. And I say it both ways, and it drives me crazy that I can't commit. But the only two that we know officially so far are Jada Tiggett and Zaya Nugent. And we've gone over both of those, on the show before. So officially, no, we don't know who the next one is. You've mentioned that, you think it's a Canadian player, but yeah, we just haven't heard yet.
New assistant coach, Pete. I think Tillett has an addiction to working with people she's worked with before. I said that with Ford a little bit, that it worries me when you're not willing to go out and find someone new and find another opinion and maybe, I guess have different voices in the room than you're used to.
Yeah, I know. The family. And she's talking about Kalia Johnson, who comes to SLU from Towson, where she was an assistant. Before that, she was at Richmond, and before that, she worked for Tillett at Longwood. She played her basketball at Duke and then overseas for a couple seasons, so she was a very good college player. Started coaching as a grad assistant for UNC Greensboro, and then was a video manager for VCU before heading across town to Richmond to kind of move up the ladder a little bit. So she's got a good profile of an assistant who's raised, through the ranks a little bit, keeps getting a better job every year or two somewhere. So the profile itself, I like, I think it's pretty good. And you're right. She likes to really keep it in the family, but I think this is a nice addition overall. Yeah.
Tillett said championship point guard, lover of the game, student of the game, former pro, mentor, competitor. I'm of the opinion that, your level of play doesn't necessarily, it isn't a direct line between coaching ability. I guarantee you LeBron James will be the worst coach ever.
I mean, just like Michael Jordan was the worst
GM. Yeah, awful. Let's go to the Diamond, Pete, because right now these two teams, baseball and softball, are playing some of the best combined bat and ball sports that we've seen in a long time here. It's actually not in a long time because they have had moments in the last 4 years where they are in lockstep, and they're in lockstep right now as much as you really can be. However, the Billikens split this week's games, 4 games. It started with a 12-5 loss against Southern Indiana on Tuesday, the 22nd. It was tied by 5 after 6 innings. USI ran away with it in the last 3 innings. The Billikens used 9 different pitchers, a staff game for the Bills. The Bill pen, if you will, was active. 5 of whom gave up runs. Chase Minor was the unlucky pitcher who took the loss. On the mound, when USI took the lead in the 7th, Hank Gomrich, a.k.a. Tokyo Drift, led SLU with 2 RBIs, and Ian Blazier led the Bills with 2 hits, and his run came on an impressive slide in the 1st. That really was a great slide.
Yeah.
Midweek staff games, I don't know if they offer lines on college baseball, but midweek college baseball games would be the absolute worst thing to bet on in the history of sports.
Yeah, you got to be a degenerate to do that.
Yes, you gotta also like to play the slot machines at the gas station.
Yeah, just throw your money away. Things got a little bit better though at Richmond this weekend, Zach. The Billikens took game 1 6-3 on Friday the 25th. Richmond had a 1-0 lead heading into the 6th when SLU finally got on the board with 2, added 2 more in the 7th after Richmond responded and tallied 1 in the 8th and another in the 9th. Gomrich again, Tokyo drifting. 3 of those first 4 runs. What did I think? He was responsible for. First with a sac fly and then with a 2-run single. Chase Beatty, Riley Ifrig, and Kamehu Sanchez each had RBS singles to drive in the other 3 runs. Owen Kelly pitched the first 6 innings, gave up 3, and got the win. Charlie Weber got the save, pitching the final 3 innings and holding the Spiders scoreless. They each struck out 6. This is the first time they've won 6 straight A10 games since 2018. And Zach, they would make it 7 on Saturday to take the series win.
Yeah, they would. 6-4 win on Saturday, as you mentioned, at Richmond. The Spiders got out to a 2-0 lead in the first. SLU got 1 back in the 3rd, 2 more in the 4th, and never looked back. Bills had 3 home runs. Sanchez solo shot in the 3rd, 2-run homer from Stressler in the 4th, and a solo shot from Ifrig in the 7th. Josh Cunningham pitched 7 innings and gave up 3 runs with enough run support for the win. Ty Holman gave up 1 in the last 2 innings, held on for the save. Unfortunately, the Billikens A10 winning streak would come to an end on Sunday, the 27th. This one was a tough watch, to put it mildly.
Yeah, you watched this one, Zach, didn't you?
I watched it.
Yeah, just 2 hits in a 6-0 loss. Maybe what you said was the most fitting final out, a ground ball right at the pitcher.
I mean, this entire game was a matter of the Billikens either, striking out, absolutely whiffing on pitches, or making solid contact and hitting it absolutely right into the chest of a Richmond fielder. They really just nothing was going right for the Billikens in this one, and it just seemed like they were ready to get back to St. Louis, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe they just needed the series win and then had to catch the plane. Richmond had a 3-run homer in the 3rd, 2-run shot in the 8th. SLU used 4 pitchers with Jack Weber taking the loss because he gave up that first home run.
You mentioned hold on. You mentioned getting back to the plane, and I'm not gonna lie, that could genuinely be factual.
Yeah, I mean it happens.
It's not that like that game was the fact the game started at noon. The game started at 10. The Blues started at 12:15 officially. Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean that is a 2 hour that game was probably a 2.5 hour college baseball game. Like that's unheard of. That is short.
Yeah.
I mean, I could absolutely see them trying to get that game over with because they had a commercial flight to catch.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Actually, so the official time in the box score was 2:15.
Oh my God.
We've seen before that the game was cut. Yeah, 2:15 is a brisk game.
Good Lord. Pete, why don't you take a look for our listeners at home at the standings, the A10 baseball standings here.
Yeah, so it's a three-way tie at top, Zach, and really it's a much tighter race than that. So you've got George Mason, Rhode Island, and St. Joe's all at 14-7, tied for first. In fourth and fifth, you've got Davidson and St. Louis tied at 13-8, and then you've got a three-way tie at 11-10. George Washington, Dayton, and Fordham not out of it. A series sweep for any of them in the last weekend can make things really interesting. The last couple weekends, I guess I should say. Richmond is a big drop off, 7-13. VCU 7-14. UMass 6-14. St. Bonaventure bringing up the rear at 4-17. Not a good season for them yet again. But next up for the Billikens, they host SIUE on Tuesday the 29th. Then they host UMass for one final time in a weekend series. UMass, as I just said, 6-14. Get a sweep here, Zach, and things are really, really interesting in first place. Even if you get a series win, it's pretty tight up there.
Yeah, this this team putting themselves in the best position possible to make an A10 final and go to the NCAA tournament is something I don't think we expected, and they have a really good chance to do that going down the stretch here with, I think, a few more series to go. On the softball side of things, Pete, a 4-3 win at Lindenwood on Wednesday the 23rd. The streak at this point is 11. They scored 4 on only 4 hits. Abby Mello had 2 of them. Go figure. To go with 2 RBIs. Taylor Hockman, Isabel Royal, Anna Christ pitched in that order. Christ got the win, and Royal gave up all 3 runs.
And then, Zach, they had Bonaventure in town for a 3-game weekend series.
Sorry, Pete, I got to interrupt you. Here. That wasn't a series. This was a bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath. But the funny thing is it didn't start that way.
No.
St. Bonaventure actually had a 6-2 lead in game 1 on Saturday after 4 innings. And then SLU responded with a 10-run fifth and 3 more in the 6th to make it a 15-6 final in game 1 on Saturday.
That reminds me so much of the Mason game in so many ways, where they were down. Things just kept kind of going. Like Mason was getting the puck luck, and you were just like, at some point, SLU is going to break through. They're going to break through. It's going to be okay. We're going to, and that's really what it feels like in a game against one of the worst teams in the conference.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny when you look at, like, after those first 4 innings, Bonaventure did not score the rest of the weekend. And SLU scored a lot. So, it's, I don't know. Funny how this one worked out. Mallow and Sydney Ross homered. Mallow and Jane Koneski led the team with 4 RBIs apiece. Koneski had the most hits with 3, and Mallow led SLU with 4 runs. 10 different Billikens scored. 8 got hits. 7 tallied at least 1 RBI. Taylor Hockman gave up those 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings, but the offense bailed her out, and so did Anna Christ. She got the win because she finished the game when those bats woke up for SLU. This game, Zach, game 2 on Saturday was a lot quieter, but they still got it done.
Yeah, a 3-0 win against Bonaventure. All 3 runs came in the 4th. First one, Kendall Johnson walked Mallow home. Second one, Chloe Ryan made it home on a wild pitch, and the third was when Isabel Johnson scored on an infield single from Abby Olsis. Isabel Royal had the shutout, striking out 5. Pete, I am going to grab this 18-0 win because I did.
Please do.
I did watch it. And there must have been a sick senior day party planned after. They must have planned on getting real rowdy at Humphreys. I don't know what the plan was, but the Billikens were super eager to get to that run rule from the word go. The Billikens went to the plate in 4 innings, and their run totals were 4, 4, 5, and 5. Bonaventure's starter did not get a single out. Abby Mallow's grand slam in the third was a total moonshot. I thought there was no way this one was getting out. I just thought it was a fly ball, and it just kept going and going. She had 8 RBIs in this one, one off the single game record for the Billikens. However, she does have a season record with 69 nice RBIs and at least 4 games to play. Mallow broke the career home run record this weekend. It now stands at 39. She tied Sadie Y's single season record of 16 with this grand slam. Jane Koneski also homered. Natalie Sullivan was 4 for 4 with 4 runs and 3 RBIs. Ulsis scored 3 times. Taylor Hockman got her 7th shutout of the season on an easy day at the office. She has 14 wins now and needs 1 more to tie the season record. The Billikens have now won 14 straight games, 15 straight in the A10, 12 straight home games, all school records. They're 20-3 in their last 23 games. Pete, after a rocky start in the A10, the schedule calmed down a bit, and my goodness, have Conoyer's Billikens taken advantage of this?
They sure have, Zach, and this sets up nicely for them because they end the regular season up at UMass for their final series ever in Amherst. SLU is now alone in first place at 17-5, and UMass is dead last at 3-14. They've lost 8 straight. Dayton is actually in second place at 15-5, and if you notice they've played fewer games, it's because they had a series up at UMass canceled due to weather earlier this season. I don't think that's going to be made up, but I think they'll determine the 1 seed based on win percentage and not wins. So there is actually a reason for SLU to play for 1 more sweep if they can do it and not just a series win, right? Like if it were just pure wins, they would just need to win another game. But I don't think that's how they're going to do it with every, a lot of teams having had games canceled. So going to be an interesting weekend here, but man, I would rather be SLU than UMass heading into this series. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I can't believe Bonaventure's not dead last, honestly.
No, it's just one game difference, but yeah, it says a lot about UMass.
Speaking of things that say a lot about things, let's talk about the let's talk about the A10 tennis championships at the USTA National Campus in Orlando. It started out with a game that I think says more about Duquesne than it says about SLU.
Yes.
My God.
Yeah, that was a 4-1 win for SLU's men. SLU was the 9 seed. Duquesne was the 8 seed. So, this was on Wednesday the 23rd. And, Zach, I got to eat crow. My prediction was wrong.
I don't know why you're eating crow. Your prediction was they weren't going to win the tournament.
I just said they won't win.
Okay.
I didn't think they would win a single.
I like that you're going above and beyond for the honesty. I appreciate that because you could sit here and pull a Zach. You could go low as I would and say, no, you didn't hear me properly. I never said they weren't going to win 1 game. I said they weren't going to win as in the entire. That's how I would have gotten out of it. You, however, are admitting to your verbiage being all encompassing.
I thought they were just going to, bow out in the first round, no matter who they played. It's just the way that this season.
I missed out on a scholarship at Duquesne in tennis. I tell you what.
I think we all did.
Whoa! Let's not sully my high school tennis reputation. It was not great, but I had one.
All right. I think my brother could have probably made it then. He played a little bit of tennis in high school. SLU was the 9th seed, the bottom seed in the tournament. Duquesne was the 8th. So this technically is an upset, but honestly, A10 tennis is hard to seed because most of these teams don't play one another in the regular season. SLU won number 1 doubles thanks to Valentin Vasquez and Andres Castellanos, but they dropped the next 2 to concede the doubles point to the Dukes. However, they proceeded to sweep singles for the rest of the points. Castellanos at number 1, Riki Koshimizu at number 3, Vasquez at number 5, and then Sebastian Munoz at number 2. Luca Leonardo and Max Chen were both down in their matches, but those went unfinished. And then they lost quickly on Thursday to the number 1 seed Dayton 4-0. Dayton took the doubles point and then won at numbers 1, 2, and 6 singles, with the other matches going unfinished. Max Chen, Riki Koshimizu, and Valentin Vasquez were all close in their matches, but they were all dropped. So unfortunately, those were our shots to put some points on the board. And the men finished the season, Zach, with a 2-14 record. Big step down from what they had done the year before. The women, though, even though they weren't quite great in this postseason event, they did have a better season overall.
Yeah, they did. They ended their A10 championship with a 4-0 loss against 5 seed VCU on Thursday, the 24th. The Billikens were the 12th out of 13 seeds. That sucks, man.
It does.
Like, to drop that far in a year is preposterous. Madison Hill, Aaron Walker got a doubles win, but that was it for the Bills in this one. I believe VCU is they finished the season at 6-11. And VCU won the A10 title in both men's and women's tennis. Yeah. They really do have the biggest advantage in this sport.
You know, it's interesting though, Zach, because they weren't the 1 seed in either of the tournaments.
Was it Dayton? Dayton was the one was in women's or men?
Dayton was the 1 seed on the men's side.
Yes.
And I want to say Fordham was number 1 in the women's
side. Now that makes sense.
So VCU, you know, as much as you say they have a competitive advantage, they just, I gotta say, I'm jealous of their athletic program. They are just winners, man.
Yeah.
They were not the 1 seed in either side and took them both. So credit to them.
Yeah, I think the Southern A10 programs definitely have a little bit of an advantage. Yeah. The legendary Drake Relays, as well as the Kip Janvrin Open, took place this weekend. Pete, run us down all of that.
Yeah, so the Drake Relays, April 23rd to the 26th, SLU set 4 program records, 5 if you want to get technical, and they had a bunch of personal records too. Both the men and women set the new mark in the distance medley relay. The women's team, Star Scott, Becky Phillips, Riley Franz, and Emily Morden, finished at 11:44:34, new record. The men's distance medley relay and Brock Waugh finished in a time of 9:49:32. So relays getting it done at Drake. Sam Lamaze, Bowen Brockmiller, Dane Schreiber, and Carson Amstutz combined to set a new school record of 1:27:74 in the 4x200 meter relay. In the shuttle hurdle relay, the first time SLU ran in this event that I've never heard of in the program's 19 years of outdoor track and field, Quincy Hubert, Ella Coppinger, Nora Kiley, and Caroline Bell ran 1:02:21 to establish a new mark in the record books that I'm sure they'll beat if they ever run it again. Madeline Roald matched the school record in the javelin. 45:10 was her throw. And then Journey Amundsen, she was the runner-up in the triple jump at 12.69 meters. She's just fantastic in that event. The Kip Janvrin Open, no big headlines like new records or anything, but they run this in Indianola, Iowa, about 30 minutes south of Drake's campus in Des Moines. Several personal records here, so go over to John Bell's Twitter and check for those details. Next up, they do have the A10 Championships, May 3rd and 4th, Fairfax, Virginia. I'm guessing that's George Mason's campus for that event. And Zach, we did have one other note on the way out, a nice little men's soccer moment.
Yeah, Max Foriani got his first ever start for San Jose against Patrick Schulte's Columbus Crew this weekend, and Simon Becher's contract has been purchased by St. Louis City.
Yeah,
so
That's right.
He is officially on the books at St. Louis City.
He just loves the toasted Ravs that much.
Yes. That's going to do it for us this week on the Midtown Madness podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. especially if you've made it this far. Special shout out to you for real. Pete, go Bills.
Go Bills.